Artificial intelligence has long gained the epithet disruptive technology, and given the slew of lawsuits ranging from book authors, music publishers, visual artists, and mass media companies, it's definitely living up to its name. Copyright holders are currently facing an existential threat, more specifically in journalism, which is currently running an uphill battle against misinformation through AI generated fake news. However, this is not the first time journalism is being faced with a tech boon that forces it to either sink or swim. With the advent of digital media, a more palatable form of journalism has been embraced by media companies such as the centuries-old mass media company, the New York Times. The New York Times has captured the essence of independent journalism, which is the dissemination of high-quality content. But there's a cost. Prior to the dot-com bubble, there was a paradigm shift to a business model which was more inclined to digital products. This was mostly informed by the trepidation that print media was on a slow descent to oblivion and thus resulting in a loss of revenue. Thus, the Times launched its website and thereafter endorsed a digital subscription plan, which resulted in a metered paywall in a strategic campaign that has drawn in 10 million subscribers. However, the digital subscription plan is not the only means of monetization. The digital transition of the New York Times content has casted a wide net of audience engagement, which has surpassed 10 million subscribers, which has become an integral source of advertising revenue due to traffic. The Times, in catering to the needs of its wide-based audience, launched different niche websites, such as in sports with the athletic website, a cooking website, a games website, and a product review, the much publicized Wirecutter, which tests, reviews, and recommends products such as tech appliances, gears to its customers, and once its customers purchase the product, they receive a commission. Lastly, the New York Times also monetizes its literary works, such as its newspaper articles, which are protected by copyright law, which grants the New York Times exclusive rights of ownership. The Times monetizes their intellectual property through its Copyright Clearance Center, which issues licenses to third parties, granting them the right to reproduce, distribute, adapt, or publicly display their content. This intricate business model, which involves subscriptions, ad revenue, licensing, and affiliate revenue, would prompt the New York Times to report an adjusted operating profit of $89.8 million. Whilst the Times reigned supreme through the dot-com era, its current business model is teetering on the brink of collapse as it faces a threat from the nascent artificial intelligence chatbot, the ChatGPT. The ChatGPT is an AI chatbot functioning on a computer program, the large language model, that is programmed and trained on copious amounts of data by supercomputing systems that, when issued with a prompt, generate text that simulates a human dialogue. ChatGPT was developed and launched in November 2022 by OpenAI, which was founded in 2015. ChatGPT hangs on the balance of its altruistic origin, as it was developed to ensure artificial general intelligence to all humanity. However, upon lifting the corporate veil, ChatGPT is owned through a series of intricate corporate structures involving shell companies and holding companies such as the OpenAI Inc., which owns and controls OpenAI LLC, which in turn owns, sells, licenses, and monetizes ChatGPT, ChatGPT Enterprises, and OpenAI API tools. Whilst OpenAI was rooted in altruism, as it's a non-profit which is currently valued at $90 billion, there seems to be a seamless transition into what is termed a hybrid structure, as in 2019, the company announced a capped profit structure. This capped profit structure be the backdrop against which the multi-billion-dollar investment partnership was announced between OpenAI and Microsoft in a bid to scale and to collaborate on the supercomputing systems. However, this exalted partnership would draw the attention of the Department of Justice, the Federal Trade Commission, UK Competition and Market Authority, and the European Union Commission, which have launched investigations into the OpenAI and Microsoft partnership for an alleged unfair competition in the AI field. This is after it was reported that Microsoft allegedly invested $13 billion into OpenAI Global LLC. In return, Microsoft will receive 75% of the company's profits until full repayment. Upon full repayment, Microsoft will allegedly acquire 49% stake in the company. Gen AI. Generative artificial intelligence is a type of AI built on a large language model that is used to generate high-quality text, images, music, videos, and most importantly, synthetic data based on large amounts of data that they were trained on. This is how ChatGPT generates responses to prompts. In the New York Times lawsuit, the Times alleges that OpenAI's ChatGPT is premised on a large language model trained on the datasets which have been alleged to be copyrighted works from the high-quality content of the New York Times. In the partnership between OpenAI and Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella has touted that the Microsoft Azure team built the infrastructure that is the supercomputing systems which were used to train the OpenAI models. This partnership led to Microsoft being roped into the lawsuit. This collaboration also led to Microsoft launching on 7th February 2023 the Bing Chat, which is currently called Copilot, which is an AI-powered search engine in concerted effort with OpenAI's ChatGPT 4 based technology, and the subsequent launching about a month later of Browse with Bing, which allows ChatGPT to access and browse the internet through Microsoft Bing search engine, but with paid subscription. Online publishers such as the New York Times grant search engines access to its content so that it directs its users to the NYT website and its mobile applications, leading to traffic and resulting in ad revenue. The quagmire is that Microsoft Bing search engine displays search results of content which is copyrighted literary works belonging to the New York Times. These synthetic search results divert users from the original authors, which is the NYT, thereby depriving them of traffic, ad revenue, and infringe on their copyright. As NYT asserts that they did not grant OpenAI permission to access its contents, nor did it grant them a license to reproduce its literary works. Thus, this act prompted the NYT to sue OpenAI and Microsoft for mass copyright infringement. Through the unauthorized reproduction of New York Times copyrighted works, first through the training of the GPT models on data that was based on Times work, and thereafter dissemination of the New York Times work through ChatGPT, Bing Chat, and Browse with Bing. Secondly, the unauthorized public display of copies or derivatives of the New York Times work on ChatGPT, Bing Chat, and Browse with Bing. Thirdly, the removal of copyright management information by OpenAI and Microsoft, which includes information such as copyright notice, the owner of the copyright, and the use of such copyright, and thereafter the scraping of copies of New York Times work from its website and thereafter reproducing it on Browse with Bing, Bing Chat, and ChatGPT. All these acts are tantamount to copyright infringement. The New York Times has also sued OpenAI and Microsoft for trade dilution. The New York Times contends that OpenAI's unauthorized use and false attribution of its trademark on inaccurate, false, and low-quality writing stemming from its own model's hallucination tarnishes the high-quality content the NYT is famed for and dilutes its trademark. Lastly, the New York Times has sued the OpenAI and Microsoft for unfair competition, claiming that OpenAI's generative artificial intelligence model, which generates content with an uncanny resemblance to the New York Times copyrighted works without authorization while still monetizing through subscriptions which translate to profits, amounts to the New York Times losing out on ad revenue, licensing, affiliate revenue due to the diverted traffic. In the unprecedented legal battle between creative control and artificial intelligence through a slew of lawsuits such as the Universal Music Group versus the AI company Anthropic over the distribution of copyrighted lyrics, or the Getty Images versus the Stability AI company for unlawful copying and generating of copyright images devoid of a license for commercial purposes, a common battle cry has been decried by proponents of artificial intelligence: fair use. The long protracted battle between Authors Guild versus Google from 2005 to 2015 has been deemed as a cat-like precedent for the doctrine of fair use, especially as a defense against copyright AI infringement. In the lawsuit, Authors Guild, an association of authors, filed a suit against Google alleging copyright infringement due to Google's digitization of books through its Google Library project, which involves the scanning of millions of books and making the copies available for public display on a Google search engine without a license. However, the Supreme Court held that Google did not infringe on the copyrights of the plaintiff and thus laid down the fair use threshold test. The first threshold test is the purpose and nature of the copyrighted works. It's twofold. First is whether the use of the copyright is for commercial purposes or for non-educational purposes such as research. Second is whether there's any transformative use, that is, that there must be a distinction from the original copyright. In the case of Authors Guild, the creation by Google of a searchable digital library of books was deemed transformative use. Secondly, constitutes the nature of the copyright work. Was it published? Was it not published? Was it factual or more of creative or imaginative works? Thirdly, is the amount and substantiality of portion used in the copyrighted works. That is, there must be a minimal display of the copyrighted works. And lastly, whether the use of the copyrighted material caused any harm through direct competition or loss of revenue in the market for copyright owners. This test will be integral in the determination of the AI copyright infringement lawsuits. In response to the lawsuit, OpenAI has published a statement claiming that the lawsuit is without merit. They have claimed that the training of the AI models on publicly available materials is fair use, and on the regurgitation, that is the memorization of data scraped from the internet thereafter publishing it, OpenAI has claimed that the regurgitation is a rare bug that they are working to eliminate.